Hey everybody, welcome back. Monday Morning Briefing, episode number 110, and it is February the 2nd. It is a Friday. Wanted to get in here and wrap up this week with a Monday briefing just to kind of give you all an update. We said bye to January this week. Lots of things happened in January. We're really busy. It seems like it just flew by super quick. Yeah, so we're on the path now to Prescott, Arizona for the Southwestern Leather Show. We're really excited to be getting ready to go to that. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the shop that we have to get done before we head out for there. So if you're going to be at Prescott, be sure and come by the booth. If you're in one of my classes, can't wait to meet you. If you're taking workshops with other craftsmen at that show, just enjoy it. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the weather's good. I think last year they had a little weather event happen, a little snowstorm and stuff like that, but hopefully this year it'll be all right. All of our classes are full, but like I said, if there's any openings, you can always go to Leathercrafters and Saddlers Journal, go through their workshop list. There's a ton of great artists at that show and a lot of opportunities. I'm not sure how many spots are open at other people's workshops or anything, but you can certainly go there and find out. And if you're going to the show, and you can go a day or two early and take a couple workshops, it's going to be really advantageous. Makes the week a lot of fun. Show will start on Friday and it'll go through Sunday, and there'll be a lot of vendors there. From what I've heard, I've talked to a few people about the show. I've never been. This is going to be our first time at Prescott or Prescott, and from what I've heard, it's a beautiful venue. It's a great place. Everything's kind of right there. It's a really good show, so we're excited. We're going to have a lot of fun. Visited with Aaron a little bit this week from Maker's Leather Supply, and he's getting geared up and ready for that show as well. So we always have a good time hanging out with the Maker's Leather Supply crowd and the folks from Herman Oak, and so we're looking forward to it. Speaking of Herman Oak, we've got plenty of leather. If you've been on the website and been hunting some things, you've noticed that we've filled back up on all of our material packs. We talked about that last week, but I did add this week the guitar straps, and we will try our best to keep those in stock. I'm just trying to be careful. I got to kind of watch items on what's selling the best, what people are demanding more of, and so we've only got a limited amount of leather, so I don't want to cut it all up and then have a bunch of something that won't sell or that people aren't really that interested in. So we're cutting that. Might throw some more wristlet material packs. I've got some other shap leather back there and things that I need to kind of work through, so I will I'll add those to the From the Cut Bench page. If you're new on this channel or you've only been on my website a couple of times and you're kind of wondering what the Cut Bench page, if you're on Instagram, follow me. I usually mention if it's there. It's a page on our website underneath Leathercraft. If you go to our store and go underneath the Leathercraft tab, you'll see a button there for From the Cut Bench. And I'll probably shorten that to just Cut Bench, because basically what that is just, it's a kind of a catch-all for ones and twos of things. I might, if I'm cutting something out for a project that I'm doing and I have enough space to cut a couple more, I might go ahead and do that in hopes of me making those for maybe the sales floor or something like that. But instead of them just sitting on my bench, if I get tied up on an actual order or a project, instead of them sitting there, I'll put them on that page, and if somebody can make use of them and they'd rather build the project, I'll let you have first dibs at it. So if you see something on there, there may only be one, there may be six. It just kind of depends on what I've got at any given time. So if you're looking for the material packs that we keep in stock, like our belt material packs, our gun slings, our knife sheaths, all the knife sheaths, we keep those in stock. Our wallet stuff, all that stuff will be under material packs underneath Leathercraft. But the Cut Bench page is going to be more for those things that you might see a couple rope can lids on there. I never say never, but you might at some point see an entire briefcase kit on there. I don't really have any intentions of doing that. I've had people ask. That's a lot of material procurement to cut all that out, and it would be a fairly pricey kit, but you never know. But whatever I'm cutting out, if I've got extra of something, I'll throw that on there. Also, it's a great place for me to throw like some little blemish kits. Like sometimes we're cutting stuff and we keep it fairly organized, and we take care of it back there as far as keeping stuff sorted out. But sometimes things, you cut some stuff and it got some little burnish on it, or maybe it had some marks on it that I didn't realize were there, so we pitch it off to the side in a box. And then when that box kind of starts to well up a little bit, I'll go through there and I may put together 3 blemish grade 5/6 ounce gunslings. I think some of those are on there or were on there last week. and we'll sell those at a reduced price, and they may have some light staining or they may have some blemish marks or something like that. If you're dyeing, you're tooling, you're stamping, none of that stuff's really going to matter, but we try to keep our material packs fairly clean unless they're stated blemish. So, and I don't always have a lot of blemish items, so that a lot of times they're on that page. So anyway, that's just kind of a quick rundown on the cut bench page. I've had a couple people message us and yeah, what does that mean and where is it, and what kind of things do you have on there? So that's one of those pages where if you're tooting around our website, reading some of our articles or watching videos, you might check that page up periodically and see what we've added on there. I try to keep it fairly well cleaned off. Once something sells out, I pull it off. That way people aren't asking if we've got any more, because like I said, a lot of times I only have one or two. Some other stuff, we did restock the Skidmore's leather cream in the pints. We weren't really out of the smaller ones, the 6 ounce, but we were out of the pints. And I know a lot of you guys like this stuff. We've got it on there again. So if you've been looking for the bigger containers, we have those back on the website. Speaking about the cut bench, I forgot about this, but I was cutting a bunch of guitar straps out of the 5/6 ounce leather, and I had some perfect spots of really nice leather, really good veg tan Herman oak here. But I don't have dies other than just our billet dies that would fit in those spots. So instead of wasting that leather or storing it, I went ahead and cut it up into 5/6 ounce 3/4 inch Ranger billets, and those are on the material pack page, I believe. I don't know if I put them on the cut bench. I'll probably try to start carrying these more, because you can very easily thin these down if you're going to line them. Usually they're out of 9/10 ounce, but if you're going to line them with say like a 3/4 ounce or some type of lining material, you might want to thin that 9/10 down some. And so I thought, well, if you want them kind of nice and thin and they're not super bulky, these 5/6s will work good too. So that's something new. We added that on there. Be sure when you're buying these belt billets for the Ranger belt that you look and make sure that you know which one you're getting, because now we have the 5/6, which are the lighter ones that you need to line. They're not good by themselves. You're going to have to put something on them. Or the 9/10s, which you could very easily use those just single ply without lining them, or line them and thin them down just a little bit. Yesterday we posted a video that I've been working on for, I think I shot it sometime last week. The article took me quite a while to write. I wanted to have a really good blog post to go along with this video because we mentioned so many tools. The video's on like making an essential toolbox for beginners or just somebody that's doing leather work but maybe wants a kit at home or a kit for their trailer so they can at least do some stuff, repair some things, whatever. But I wanted to take all the tools in my shop and on my bench, hand tool wise, and say what tools, if somebody was starting out, do they absolutely need in order to do whatever leather project they may want to do. And this all came because I got a friend of mine whose son just did a really good job at their county fair. He had built a shooting bench for sighting in rifles and things. He's a young man, built this thing, turned out really nice, but he said next year he wants to do a leather project, and particularly he wants to settle saddlebags. And so he was asking me, hey, what does he need? What kind of tools does he need? I want to put him in a kit together. And so I said, you know, that's a great idea because I've had people ask me that too. So we went ahead and put that video together. I went around and I got just the essentials. And so I kind of broke it up by tasks. So you're going to be cutting leather, obviously. You're going to be measuring leather, pattern layout. You're going to be slicking your edges on stuff. You're going to be sewing leather together, setting fasteners, you know, all of those things. So I tried to break it up and say, what tools can I get? The minimum amount of tools to do all of those functions. And so that's what we did, and the video was actually really easy to shoot. I put all that stuff out on the table and we went through it all. We've done a bunch of videos on a lot of those tools individually. We've done a video on edgers. We've done a video on hole punches. We've done a video on hammers. We've done a video on stitching tools, and some videos for sharpening some of these tools. And not that I'm an expert sharpener. If you want really good detail and information on sharpening, you need to reach out to Bruce Johnson on sharpening, because he's a tool expert and he knows how to sharpen stuff, and that would be my go-to if you're looking for information, just on general information. But anyway, we did that video, and then I thought we need to do an article, so it's got some resource links. Obviously we do business with a lot of people. Makers Leather Supply, we do some stuff with Springfield Leather as far as getting some supplies from them. I get some stuff from Weaver. leather. Jeremiah Watt tools, I got a few of those. And so we just thought, we're gonna try to find where you can get the bulk of these. A lot of these tools, when you watch that video, you'll see some of that stuff you can get at a hardware store. A square, a tape measure, a straight edge, the side cutters and needle nose pliers. A lot of those things you can just get at your local hardware store. But some of the other stuff, the stitch and awls and the edgers and things like that, I wanted to give you a couple options. So if you go to that video on your YouTube channel or just go to our blog on our website, it'll be the latest article, and the video's embedded in that article. But below the video, there is a list of all the tools, and then I've got links provided for some people I would suggest where you can get these things. Some of them I couldn't find exactly the same tool, but I tried to find a comparison or something like that. There's even a few Amazon links in there because obviously I get my pencils and my X-Acto knife handle, the bigger diameter one. I get that on Amazon, so I provided links for all that. So if you're just found us or you're just thinking about getting into leatherwork, then that video hopefully is going to be very helpful for you to put together a good starting kit, a good core platform to work up from. So it's not going to be every tool that you need throughout a leathercraft career, but I think it's a great starting place, and it'll take you pretty good while of just using those tools where maybe you can't, or you don't really have to add, but you can add more tools obviously as you go along. And we're going to do something really neat after that video as far as a project video. So I'm going to be doing a project video where I'm going to build the project only using those tools, and I think it'll be fun. It'll be good, and so we'll be doing that here pretty quick. We shot another project video last week as well. I created the project pattern pack, sent the pattern pack off, and so those should be in at any time, maybe today. And it is for our sale catalog that we talked about in the last video or the video before. Anyway, the sale catalog cover. Pattern's done for that. I just got to shoot that video or finish shooting that video, and hopefully that will be out early next week, and we'll have it done and that pattern pack, because I've got a couple more I'd like to have before we go to Prescott, but we've got to get a lot of things wrapped up here in the shop. We're still wrapping up inventory. Unfortunately, I'm trying to get that done as I can, but there's just so much stuff going on, just work wise and saddle wise. I've worked a little bit on saddles, but mainly just working on stuff for you guys and doing orders and trying to keep that cut room cut up so that we're prepared and got plenty of inventory so we don't run out of stuff. One tool that I did want to mention that I've kind of forgot, and I didn't really forget it, but it's not mandatory, but I think it's pretty close to mandatory. But I think a strop board, some type of strop board, obviously an entire sharpening system. Everybody needs to have some type of system for sharpening whatever tools you have, because if you're doing leather work, all your tools need to be sharp. If they're not sharp, makes your job a lot harder, makes your product look a little rougher. So you want to have your knife sharp, your edges sharp, everything needs to be properly sharpened. But I think one of the most important tools in the sharpening system is going to be some type of strop board, especially for knives and swivel knives and things like that. And so I just wanted to add that here. If you're watching this Monday video, when you watch that video, remember you might want to add some type of little strop board. It doesn't even have to be a paddle strop board like this, because this carries around in my toolbox when I go to shows, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this big. You can get just a scrap piece of leather, like something like this wallet back, and then load that with your compound and use that if you prefer, and just have that slipped into your deal, because as long as you can lay it flat, you can do that, or lay it on the edge of the bench and strop your knives. It's going to be real helpful with knives, because you can work on a knife a whole lot on a stone and grit, and use your sandpapers, or wet and dry sandpapers, whatever you want to do, whatever your system is for sharpening that blade. You can do all of that, and it's really sharp, but it's going to have maybe a little drag to it as you're pulling it through the leather. Leather's really hard to cut, especially veg tan, so you may feel a little bit of that drag. That's where the strop board's really going to help, because it's going to polish that edge down some more, and it's going to make it just really smooth so that knife will glide through that leather, have a less chance of cutting yourself. But we've talked about the strop board before in other videos and different things, but this is mine. My good friend Tony Court made this for me years ago, and it's a nice little piece of wood, and then it's got leather glued on this side and this side, something very simple. I have the rough out facing out. That's a debate whether the rough out or slick is better. Do one way, do the other way. Try them both, see which one you like better. But these are rough out, and then I use the black polishing compound. I get this at Weaver Leather Supply. It comes in a big brick. I think this brick is usually about this long. This one's we've used for quite a while. and I'll put some oil on the leather, like olive oil or whatever, neatwood oil, whatever you're using, and then I'll rub this brick on there, and that's loading this compound into the leather fibers. Then when you strop that knife, it's gonna polish that knife off. You can also do the same with a buffing wheel, but again, that video we're trying to do a toolbox idea, concept, so you're not gonna have a grinder in there. And you can use it, you know, with a knife, with anything, your draw gauge deal. Like I said, you can do it however you want to. Any kind of leather, or really, they say horse butt works even better. So if you can get a horse butt strip from a company, those aren't, we've talked about those in a video a while back. I've got some of those. They say that makes a really good strop. It doesn't necessarily need to be on a board, but whatever you want to make, just do that. Now this compound comes in a lot of different colors, and I actually just listened to an interview with Bruce Johnson by Mr. Van Plew. He's on YouTube, and he's doing some interviews with people, and that is a really, really good, well-produced, I guess, video podcast kind of deal. And he's interviewed quite a few people here already, and set out to do some more. So we're really liking what he's doing. But I listened to the interview with him last night of Bruce Johnson. I haven't quite finished it, but I was listening to a lot of it while I was cooking dinner. And I didn't know, I thought it was black, green, and red was the only compounds that were available. But listening to Bruce talk, there's a lot more colors. There's, I think, a pink and something else. He goes into it. You can go back. I'll put a link to that interview on YouTube with Van Plew Productions, I think, or something. Anyway, I'll put it on there. You can go check that interview out and the other ones that he's done. But I like the black. I think the black works good. I have used the green. Green works works good as well. But I would just stick with black for simplicity in your toolbox. But then if you want to get and dive into the sharpening realm, which I need to, we probably all need to spend some time developing that skill a little better. You can definitely go down that rabbit hole and find out a lot more information on all the different compounds and things. But black works good for me. I use that pretty well exclusively in the shop, and I find that it works fine for me. But you need to get some type of stropping or polishing system for your knives if you're going to be doing leather work for any length of time, because a dull knife is, one, it's very dangerous if your knife is dull, because you'll end up getting yourself in a position where you're just trying to get that last little bit or something, and that's when something's going to happen. Also, too, your work just doesn't look as clean if your cuts aren't smooth and everything's not cut out correctly. So we want to be sure that we spend some time on knife skill set, knife sharpening, and being familiar with that knife or that tool, that edger, whatever we're using, so that we can efficiently and correctly do what we need to do with it. But yeah, we're excited. That video's out, and you can go on our YouTube channel, or like I said, go to our website and you can watch that video. I think it's good. I think you can, I'm not sure what all those tools would cost. Usually on those, I'll have a cheaper one and a more expensive one. It's kind of just dependent on your budget, but I wouldn't think you'd have to spend a ton of money to put a decent little toolbox together, and you can start doing leather work. And I mentioned that video too. If you're new to leather work and you just ran across this channel and you're like, man, I'd like to make something, pick a project first and then go get the tools that you need to make that project. That's probably the easiest way to do it, instead of even investing in all of that. You'll figure out real quick what you're missing. But say you want to make a belt, go buy the material and then ask around at where you're buying the material or whatever, and get an idea of what tools you're going to need to do that. And then over time, every different project, you'll add a few, but eventually you won't have to add any tools really to speak of. You'll just have to add material to be able to build the next project. So that's always a great way to do it. That's kind of what I do in woodworking and stuff at the house, or building stuff, is just, I want to build this one thing. I've got to buy this one tool, even if it's a cheap version of it, just to be able to do this. And then if it becomes a task that I'm going to do over and over on many projects, then I might invest in a better tool. So I'm always, I try to get people to get out of the mindset of that you need the most expensive tool that's out there. I know you tool makers are gonna hate that statement, but a good tool is worth its weight in gold. But if you don't know the difference between the good function of the tool and a poor function of a tool, then you've got to learn that first, so that you can make the determination on whether it's making a proper function for you in your work. So just start where you are, start where your budget lies, get what you can, and work from there. I've seen guys do amazing work with very little high-end tools at all. Like they've got just kind of stuff they've made or modified or converted over from one industry to this one. So it's pretty cool. But we're excited about that video. We're excited to be in February now. Hopefully we're done with bad weather. I think we've got some storms coming here this evening and into tomorrow, so should be okay. Hopefully it's just a little rain and possible hail and that. And of course we always got to keep our eye on the sky for a possible tornado or something. Not that common down here, but yeah, anyway, we're doing that and just shooting videos and doing stuff. I'm still going to be cutting some stuff today. I've got a few things I want to cut, add to the cut bench page, and make sure that we're full of all of our material packs. We got plenty of patterns. We're excited to get to Prescott and get to teaching. Looking forward to meeting you guys there. A few of y'all have called and said you're going to be there and you're going to come by the booth and we get to meet in person and stuff, so that's going to be cool, and we're looking forward to it. If you haven't already, be sure to go to dgsaddlery.com, sign up for the Leathercraft newsletter, and we'll see you guys next week in the Monday morning briefing.